words of our Divine Mother. Our Divine Mother says, O Lord, Thou art my refuge and my blessing, my strength, my health, my hope, and my courage. Thou art supreme peace, unalloyed joy, perfect serenity. My whole being prostrates before Thee in a gratitude beyond measure and a ceaseless worship. And that worship goes up from my heart and my mind towards Thee like a pure smoke of the incense of the perfumes of India. Let me be Thy herald among them, so that all who are ready may taste the beatitude that Thou grantest me in Thy infinite mercy, and let Thy peace reign upon earth. With love and blessing, says our Divine Mother. Three steps of self-realization and the triple transformation. Words of our Lord taken from the book The Life Divine. The origin and the remedy of falsehood, error, wrong, and evil. For the three steps of self-realization and triple transformation, our Lord Aurobindo says, in the spiritual knowledge of self, there are three steps of self-achievement, which are at the same time three parts of the one knowledge. The first is the discovery of the soul, not the outer soul of thought and emotion and desire, but the secret psychic entity, the divine element within us. When that becomes dominant over the nature, and when we are consciously the soul, and when the mind, life, and body take their true place as its instruments, we are aware of a guide within that knows the truth, the good, the true delight, and the beauty of existence, controls heart and intellectual by its luminous law, and leads our life and being towards spiritual completeness. Our Lord Aurobindo says, even within the obscure workings of the ignorance, we have then a witness who discerns, a living light that illumines, a will that refuses to be misled, and separates the mind's truth from its error, the heart's intimate response from its vibrations to a wrong call and wrong demand upon it, the life's true ardor and plenitude of moment from vital passion and the turbid falsehoods of our vital nature and its dark self-givingness.
No slight task allowed to others, that her woman's strength might
do. Our Lord Aurobindo says, this is the first step of self-realization, to enthrone the soul, the divine psychic individual, in the place of the ego. This is the first step of self-realization, to enthrone the soul, the divine psychic individual, in the place of the ego. The next step is to become aware of the eternal self in us, unborn and one with the self of all beings. This self-realization liberates and universalizes, even if our action still proceeds in the dynamics of the ignorance, It no longer binds or misleads because our inner being is seated in the light of self knowledge. The third step, says our Lord, the third step is to know the divine being who's at once our supreme transcendent self, the cosmic being, foundation of our universality, and the divinity within, of which our psychic being, the true evolving individual in our nature, is a portion, a spark, a flame growing into the eternal fire from which it was lit and of which it is the witness, ever living within us and the conscious instrument of its light and power and joy and beauty. In the book Letters on Yoga, Sri Aurobindo says, there are 1,000 ways of approaching and realizing the divine, and each way has its own experiences which have their own truth and stand really on a basis one in essence but complex in aspects, common to all but not expressed in the same way by all. There is not much use in discussing these variations. The important thing is to follow one's own way well and thoroughly. In this yoga, one can realize the psychic being as a portion of the divine seated in the heart with the divine supporting it there. This psychic being takes charge of the sadhana and turns the whole being to the truth, the divine, with results in the mind and vital and the physical consciousness, which I need not go into here. This is the first transformation. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, we realize next the one self, Brahman, divine, first above the body, life and mind, not only within the heart, supporting them above, and free and unattached as the static self in all, and dynamic too as the active divine being and power, Ishvara Shakti, containing the world and pervading it as well as transcending it, manifesting all cosmic aspects. But what is important, what is most important for us is that it manifests as a transcending light, knowledge, power, purity, peace, ananda, of which we become aware and which descends into the being and progressively replaces the ordinary consciousness itself by its own movements. That is the secondary transformation. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says, we realize also the consciousness itself as moving upward, ascending through many planes, physical, vital, mental, overmental, to the supramental and ananda planes. This is nothing new. It is stated in the Taittiriya Upanishad that there are 5 Purushas: the physical, the vital, the mental, the true Purusha, supramental, and the bliss Purusha.
The unplumbed abyss of her deep, passionate want. Yet ever they grew into each other more, until it seemed no power could rend apart. Since even the body's walls could not divide, for when he wandered into the forest, oft her conscious spirit walked with him and knew his actions as if in herself he moved. He, less aware, thrilled with her from afar.
It says that one has to draw the physical self into the vital self, the vital into the mental, and the mental into the truth self, the true self into the bliss self, and so attain perfection. Let me repeat this. It says our Lord, it says that one has to draw the physical self into the vital self, the vital into the mental into the truth self into the bliss self, and so attain perfection. But in this yoga, we become aware not only of this taking up, but of a pouring down of the power of the higher self, so that there comes in the possibility of a descent of the supramental self and nature to dominate and change our present nature and turn it from the nature of ignorance into nature of truth knowledge, and through the supramental into the nature of ananda. This is the third or supramental transformation. Our Lord Sri Aurobindo says it does not always go in this order, for with many the spiritual descent begins first in an imperfect way before the psychic is in front and in charge. But the psychic development has to be attained before a perfect and unhampered spiritual descent can take place. And the last or supramental change is impossible so long as the two first have not become full and complete. That's the whole matter put as briefly as possible, says our Lord Sri Aurobindo.